All right. Well, it is 12:10, so we're ready to get started. Your time is valuable. I don't want to go over. Um, and if we have questions and it ends up that there's questions after the session's over, I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions. If you do have a question, if you'll put it in the chat. I'm not always on the chat tab because I'm showing you other things. But we have the amazing Glenn Smallwood here, then he will get those questions to me. He'll ask for you, and I will try to answer them the best that I can. If it's a really pressing question and you just cannot wait, you can unmute your mic and feel free to ask a question. I want to make sure we answer as many questions as we can. Not that I have answers. I can make stuff up if needed. So just to let you know, this is about Minecraft and using Minecraft in the classroom. I'm going to tell you some very privy information that some of you may know, some of you may not know, but Minecraft is coming to Chromebooks. Yes, finally. It's taken them forever, but it's finally there. Right now it's in beta. We are attempting to get the version out through our admin console for our students on the Chromebooks. In any event, it's going to be going completely live soon. They haven't given out a date on that yet, but if it's already in beta, it's coming. I have waited to put it on my own Chromebook until it's official. That's only because I wanted to make sure that my experience was like the kids. So I'm very excited about that. That means that any of our students that have a Chromebook will be able to use Minecraft, which means we have accounts for everybody. So this is really, really, I heard this a couple of weeks ago. I was doing cartwheels down the hallway. I was so excited because this finally happened. I've been waiting for this for over 2 years. So I'm excited about that. With that being said, okay, what is Minecraft? How do we get started? Because that's what this is about. This is about the basics of getting started with Minecraft. And I apologize if we have advanced users out there. And if you have things that you like to add, please do. Of course, Minecraft is not a game. It is an experience. And it is a way for kids to connect with each other. I'm going to tell you, when we first went into this remote situation, this was back in early April. I was doing Minecraft meetups, and some of the my colleagues in my department, can we join your world? I'm like, sure. So we were all in this remote world together. Now, of course, we hadn't seen each other in weeks, and it was like magic being. Even though it was a pretend avatar in this fake world and we were working together, we could see each other in the meet, but yet we were playing together in a world, we were building together. And it was so much fun. And I kept thinking to myself, this is really good for our kids in this remote world that we live in, and there's so many cool things that you can do with Minecraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start presenting, and I'm actually going to show you a website where you can get more information about Minecraft, and then you can actually get started with it on your devices that you have now. Now I'm going to tell you that if this is an install, so you might need the help of 434-1010 to get this up and running, but it will be worth it to you. So I'm going to go ahead and share a tab, and I'm going to share this tab right here. Okay. All right. This site right here, this is the education.minecraft.net site. This is your all go-to site for everything Minecraft. This is where you will download it for your computer. Now, for your students' computers, there's going to be some information that's going to come out about that. We're going to put a mail admin out just as soon as it is available, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be available soon. The excitement on Twitter is just amazing. I'm so thrilled that it's finally here for all of our students. So this site here is a really good resource for you as a teacher. Is if you're new to Minecraft, like when I was, and I had no idea what I was doing, I would come here and I would go through some of the class resources. I would look for lessons, and there was a lot of people that are on here that will give you information. I was a part of the Minecraft mentor group Why they chose me, I don't know. I told them I know nothing about Minecraft, and they said, yeah, we like that. So they chose me. I don't know why. But being part of that, I have learned so much, and I still know like little teeny tiny bit compared to some people that have been in this program for a long time. But needless to say, this is where you're going to want to start to download your Minecraft, and you don't have to log in. I have an account, but you don't have to log in to get to any of this stuff. You're going to go to support, which is the second tab from the right. You're going to go down to the download. I'm going to click on it. Give it a second to load. A lot of graphics on these pages, so it does take it just a second. And plus with the meat going, and I also have Minecraft going in the background, so it's going to be slower. Now it's going to tell you what is recommended for your device, because it read my device and it says you're on a Mac. So this is the one that you probably should download. I already have it, so I don't need to download it. But if I needed to download it, this is where I would go. I can download it if I'm on a PC right here. Okay, and again, they have it for the Mac and they have it for the iPad. So if you have an iPad, you can download it to your iPad, and it's a free download, and you log in with your Isleta credentials, your email, your entire email address, and the password to your email address to get into your email, and your account is there, and you can get started and playing Minecraft. We have it for everyone in the district. So do it now. If you're having trouble with the installation, again, call 434-1010. Tell them that you want it installed on your device. You'll need to download it first. So what you do is you click and you download it, and you don't try to install it yet. Then you call 434-1010 and you tell them that you need this installed, because it's going to ask you for an administrator password, and it's going to make you crazy, and you're going to want to throw tomatoes at me. You're going to say, you told me about this great, awesome thing, and now I can't even get it. So if you let them know, they will help you to put that on your device. Hopefully they are working. I know some of the days that they've been working on other things. So, and I apologize, I don't have those passwords that they have, but this is where you will find and you'll be able to download the Minecraft. Now, if you are on a Mac and you download Minecraft, let's say you download it today and you get it installed today, you're one of those lucky people, you get through on 434-1010 and you're able to get it installed today. In a couple of months from now, you're going to want to come back to this site, and you're going to want to download again, and you're going to want to get that one installed. And that's because it does not update on its own on a Mac. It does on a Windows machine, but it does not on a Mac. And of course, on an iPad, it does, because it does have the upload compatibility, or to update itself, but it will not update on the Mac. So that's just something to think about, that every couple of months, because they do have these updates that come up where they have different what they call mobs that come out, like they just added the foxes and the bees. Those are out there now, and they have all these other types of animals, and there's always like a major update, and then really cool stuff is in there, and then you're like, hey, I don't have it. It's because you're on a Mac and you need to update. Update your version of Minecraft. Okay, so this is where you're going to find it. Again, it's under support and under download. Now, again, you'll want to come here. You'll want to look through the community. They do have like a forum, like to ask questions, and there's all kinds of questions. How do I get started? What do I do first? They're all in here. I'm going to show you some stuff here in just a little bit on how to get started, how to get in, how to get your kids in there, what are some of the things that you can do while we're here at home, that kind of stuff. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit, but I want to finish showing you this site, because this site has been invaluable to me. I'm on this site all the time because it's got some amazing things. Some of the lessons on here, those aren't the amazing part, but I have put a couple of lessons on here myself because I have to, being part of the mentor group. But some of the other lessons that are in here are just really incredible. Not mine, but the other ones that are in here are really, really great. So here's your class resources. So they have a whole thing. This is new on distance learning, how to get trained, because they do have some courses if you want to walk yourself through those. They also have the Minecraft mentor, which is what I got, and they only have it open so often, but I highly recommend that if this is something that you do want to pursue, get in there and get that certification done, so that way you can take it a little bit further, and you're privy to a little bit of information. You get to know stuff before everybody else knows stuff. So that's kind of a neat thing too. Find worlds. We'll talk about that in just a minute. They have what's called a build challenge every month that they put here on the challenge, and and it's something that they want the kids to build on their Minecraft, and it's like a whole month long lesson. So the kids go in and they figure out what they need to build, and then they have the time, their free time, obviously, to build whatever it is they're being asked to build within the challenge. Okay, and there's also you can code with Minecraft. We'll be talking about that as well. Okay, so if you want to find a lesson, click in here. Give it a second to load. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff open right now because Minecraft is a little memory intensive, so just be aware of that. Okay, so if you're looking for your subject, you find your subject, whatever, maybe science, whatever. Once you pick your subject, then or you can search every lesson that's in here, and then they're also designated by grade level. Like I did one for kinder first, second, and then I think I did another one for fourth, fifth, and sixth. So you can, and then they've got what are called the featured lessons. These are the lessons that are by the really cool guru Minecraft people, and just you can click on any of these lessons that they have in here. I'm going to go ahead and just search for science, just so you can see what they look like. Okay, and under science, it's going to give you a list of all of the different lessons that they had. Now look at this. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Eukaryotic. I didn't say that properly at all. My mouth is not working right. Cells, but this is like high school stuff. Okay, element scavenger hunt. That one looks kind of fun. Here's about the space station. This one right here was actually a challenge that they had a few months back. I remember that challenge. And so they've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. You'll notice that some of the grade levels are a little bit higher, but they do have stuff for lower grades as well, because this isn't just for middle school, for high school, for upper elementary. This is for everybody. The stuff that they have in Minecraft is really, really incredible. So with that said, this is a great site. Again, this is education.minecraft.net. That is this site, and this is where you can download Minecraft, and you can find out lots of really great information. You can get some of your questions answered. Of course, you can always email me. I don't have all of the answers, but I will try to find answers for you in the event that you need something. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I am going to share my Minecraft screen. So let me get back to my meet here. And I'm going to share a window. Share this window. Okay. All right. So you should be seeing my Minecraft window, and it's coming up right here. I can actually see it. Yay. Okay. So what it did was, because I've logged in before, immediately when I first opened up Minecraft, it logged me in with mdaniel@ysd.net, because that's what I logged in last time. I have the ability to change that. I could just say change player, and right here, switch accounts, and I can go to another account. I go to one of my kids' accounts, whoever has an Isleta account, because that's what this is kind of set up with. All right, so here I am. Okay, now the first thing that your kids are going to want to do is they're going to want to change their avatar. So what you're going to want them to do is click on the little hanger, and here is where you'll able to change your avatar, or your Minecraft person. You can change what they're wearing, etc., etc. And when you make the changes, you click confirm. I'm not going to change anything because I like my outfit just fine. And once you finish and you click confirm, you come back on. They call it your skin, even though I say it's like your outfit or your costume or whatever, but I guess it's your skin. Okay. All right, so now we're going to play. Now, really, we're not playing. We're experiencing Minecraft, but I'm going to click play. Now here, this is like this is already a little overwhelming. All right. So right here, I have some worlds because every time that you create what they call a world, it's going to put it in your worlds for you. I can create a brand new one if I want to. I can join a world, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. And I can also view the library. I'm going to tell you, don't reinvent the wheel the first time that you start with Minecraft. Go to the view library. Go in here. So we're going to go in here. Now they have some lessons in here. All right. And how to play. Yes, how to play. You actually go in and you kind of learn how to play Minecraft. You're not really playing. I hate this, keep saying play, but that's not what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and go here to how to play. All right. They have a start here and additional tutorials. The start here, it's going to show you how to move. It's going to show you how to dig a hole, how to get your inventory, all of that stuff. So this is a really good starting place for you as a teacher. If you've never played Minecraft before and you're not sure what to do, start here. This is the first one I ever did, and it taught me so much. They have this part of it that's about redstone, and redstone is like electricity in Minecraft, okay? And you have to create circuits. If you don't create the circuit the right way, nothing will work. And it's very frustrating at the beginning. Well, you get kind of stuck in this room and you have to get yourself out of this room. And normally kids get in and out of there within a few minutes because they just create the circuit and they figure their way out. Well, I didn't even know how to create the circuit because I had never ever done any of it before, and it took me like forever to get out. But once I got out, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand. But it doesn't like give you instructions. You kind of have to like figure out the pattern of the Minecraft. It gives you instructions all the way until you get there, and then you kind of like have to figure your way out. But it's so worth it. So I definitely say start here. For the additional tutorials, there's tutorials here on, I believe it's in the chemistry. Let me see what's all in here. I can tell you. Yes, the chemistry tutorial is in here because they have a whole chemistry component to Minecraft. So awesome. So awesome. And the code builder tutorial, another very, very awesome tutorial. This will start your kids with coding. Now, we all have that hour of code that we were supposed to do, and we normally do that in December. And it involves like, and almost look like little Legos that we build, and they tell the computer what to do, right? Or the little avatar, whatever's on the screen. Well, what this does is it takes that a step further. You're still working with little Lego pieces and you're putting them together, but you're actually having this little guy right here. He's so cute. He's I'm trying to remember what his actual, he's a coding agent, and he'll have your name, and you tell him what you want done by using code, and he will do it for you. And it's quite amazing, and the kids get really into it, especially when it comes to building, because you have to tell him exactly the correct steps and the correct otherwise he won't build it right. So and again, it's all about that processing and problem solving, and kids spend a lot of time in there just trying to figure out how to code him. And with the chemistry, adding the elements together to create compounds, and using those compounds to create inventory items, or items that you cannot find in your inventory, to build like things like balloons and water bombs and things that the things that are really fun to use in Minecraft. I've had a lot of fun with the chemistry, and I wish I had this when I was in school, because this would have really helped me to understand how those chemicals work together, because this is like real. It uses the periodic table, it uses the atomic weight, it uses everything. So in a really fun way. So I definitely recommend doing those tutorials. And I'm going to go back. Okay, so they have some biomes and worlds, which means they have an underwater biome, they have a polar biome, they have a jungle, like a biome, they have all different biomes in here, desert, and of course they all have different types of animals that live in that biome, and you're just a part of it. And it's a great way of learning about these different places around our Earth. I'm going to put quotes around that. And there's the challenges. I was talking about the monthly build challenges. There, you'll find those in here. And then, of course, you'll find some lessons in here. These are all just really great resources for you as the teacher, also for the students. I'm just going to put that out there. But I'm going to go back here, because I'm actually going to start up one of my worlds, and we're going to see how we can get kids to join the world, and some of the things that we can do in here. I'm looking at the time, and we go to 12:55, so we've got about 15 more minutes, right? No, 25 more minutes. We're good. Okay, let me click on my world. Okay, and you're going to see that I've built some different worlds, and I've used this world a lot of times, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. Okay, of course I can make a new one if I wanted to, or I can use one of the worlds that I've already created, and it will save it for you. It's kind of like a save automatically type of thing. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Now you notice I can say play. I don't like that word, or host. Now, as a teacher, I can host a world, and what that means is students can join my world. Students cannot join students' worlds. And it used to be that they could, but I think with the safety features and the fact that we're remote now, that they don't want that happening. So students still have the ability to use the host, but they can't join each other's worlds. I know this firsthand because my boys, they were trying to play Minecraft with somebody who was at their house, and they kept hosting, and it kept telling them that they couldn't do it. And I said, okay. So then I opened up a world and I hosted it, and then they were all able to join my world. And I said, you know what? They're making it so you guys can't join each other's worlds anymore. And then I did some research, and yeah, sure enough, that's what happened. So, but I'm going to go ahead and click host, because I'm going to pretend that I've got some of my students who are going to join my world. Now, if I had clicked play, I will have the option of hosting even once I'm in the world. It's not set in stone. I can actually go back and forth. I can stop hosting, or I can start hosting within the world. Okay, so here I am in my world, and there's all kinds of animals around me. I'm going to go ahead and push the escape button so I can get to some of my settings. Join code. This code right here, which is 4 pictures, and it's the water bucket, it's the carrot, it's the rail, and it's an agent. This is my code right now. So if I get this out to my students, or if we're in a Google Meet the way we are right here, and they can see it on the screen, they can hit the join code, and all they do is click on the pictures, because it's like a big phone, and they just click on the pictures, click on those 4 pictures, and then they click join world, and then they will be in my world here, and I will see their names appear here. Okay. Now, if they're a teacher, they're going to have a symbol that looks like this. And if they're a student, they're going to have a star. And the star means that they don't have as many capabilities as the crown. That means like you're kind of like an owner type of thing. But even if I have another teacher join me, they will have a crown as well, because they have the same functionality as I do within the world, which is kind of a nice thing to have as well. How many people can you have in a world? 30. That's a high number, but 30. You can only have 30 people within one world. Now, but hey, Misha, I'm a middle school teacher, and I have 40 kids in this one class. How would I use this with my kids? Okay, so you as the teacher, you can create a couple of worlds, right? You can go into one, and open it up, and then give out the join code. You can also have some of your students, if you make a world and you save it, and one of your kids downloads it to their device, because you created it, they can host. So like my son, if I said, okay, here's my world, and I put it up in my Google Drive, and he downloads it, and he opens it up on his device with Minecraft, he can host a world because I created that world. I'm the teacher. I created that world. He can't do it from making his own world, but he can do it from me making my world. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I have to create it in order for it to be hosted. But there's a lot of different ways, and I can help you out with that if that is something that you wish to do. Okay, if I want to stop hosting, I just click the button and then the code will go away, and nobody, if there's somebody in my world, they'll get kicked out of my world because I'm not hosting it anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it on for now. And this number here tells me how many people are in the world with me. There's only one, just me. I'm the sole survivor right now. This number will increase as kids join my world. And again, I can have up to the magic number of 30. After that, it's full, and I won't be able to have anybody else in my world. If I'm finding that too many people are joining, I can redo the code, and anybody who's in my world will stay in my world, but then, they won't be able to use that code anymore. So I can redo the code if I need to. Okay. I'm going to go over here. These are it shows you like there's a how to play portion in here, but there's also some settings in here. Okay. And give it just a second. It's thinking. Okay. So these are settings that you might want to use with your students. I'm going to show you one for sure that you want to use with your students, and that is right here, is that you want to make sure that you have the classroom settings turned on. Show classroom settings. Why do you want the classroom settings? Because this is going to allow you to do some things in your world that will affect anybody that comes into your world. You can have perfect weather, which means that it's not going to rain. I'm going to tell you there are kids that don't like to build if it's raining. Okay. I like to allow the mobs because I like the chickens. Anything that is alive that is around you is considered a mob. Even if it's good, like the chickens and the sheep and the horses and all of that. But there's also some bad mobs that are out there. Like there's these slime creatures, and there's the zombies, and there's the other stuff. And I'm going to show you a way that you can make those things stay away from you if you don't want them. Allow destructive items. There's this thing called TNT. And you may or may not want to allow your kids to use it. I say let them use it, let them blow everything up. It's not going to hurt anything, unless there's something that you're absolutely wanting them to build. Player damage. This is if you are not playing in what's called the creative mode, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. I usually have that turned off because I don't want players to hurt each other. Mutable world means that they can't do anything to the world. I usually have that turned off as well because I want them to experience the world and to dig and do things in the world. And player versus player damage, I don't want that on. I don't want that on. Okay, so these are some of the options that I have within the teacher thing. If I turn this off, then all of these will go away and I won't be able to see them. Okay, so I say make sure that it's turned on, and that so that way you can see what some of those settings are and you choose them to your liking. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, I'm trying to remember, I was going to tell you about, what was I going to tell you about? My brain just decided to turn off. The creative mode right here. Yes, creative mode. So the default game mode for this particular world is creative. Now there's 3 modes in Minecraft, or 3, whatever you want to call them, levels. One is creative. I recommend, if you're new to Minecraft, starting creative. I've been doing Minecraft about 2.5 years. I still use creative. I don't like to use the survival mode or the story mode because both of those really kind of scare me. But under creative, you'll see that there's a survival mode. With the survival mode, you can die. You can die, and the things that are mean and nasty can harm you. And so you've got to be careful. As you're trying to build, you might have a slime that comes and it touches you. And as it touches you, it's taking away your life, right? And after so many touches, you're going to die. That happens in survival mode. You want to make sure you're in creative mode if you don't want to die. Okay. You also need to make sure, if you're in survival mode, that you eat and that you sleep. If you don't do those things, you're going to die. So there's some real life lessons in here. Adventure mode, this is like for experienced high level Minecraft users. I don't even look at this one because I don't think I'm that at all. I know some about Minecraft, but I know probably enough to be dangerous. So I don't even go here. I stick with creative. So that's where I stick because it's just easier for me to build and do things within the creative, and I don't have to worry about the witches or the skeletons or any of the other stuff to do harm to me. Okay. And right now my personal game mode is creative, and you're going to see you have a default game mode, and that's going to, anybody that joins the world will have this game mode, and this is your game mode as one individual. Your difficulty level, I stick with peaceful and easy. I don't do normal or hard because those are the ones that can really get you into some trouble. Hard, oh my goodness, yeah, everything is out to get you. So I stick with peaceful means nothing bad can come near you. Like you don't see any slimes, you don't see any of that stuff. All you see are the good, peaceful animals and creatures that are in Minecraft, and it's beautiful. It's really great. So when you're first starting out, start with peaceful. I've moved to easy because I wanted to see some of that stuff, especially since we've been doing these trainings. But I have yet to move up to normal because I'm just not ready for that yet. So I kind of stay away from that one. Okay. And so that's for your difficulty and your permission level for students. Again, they have the star, so they're a member, but you can actually change that if you want to. I recommend leaving it like that, or you can make it a visitor where they're allowed to explore, but they're not going to interact with anything in the world. They won't be able to build. So again, that's your choice. Maybe you've got somebody who you need to change to a visitor, or maybe they need to be like on a timeout. You can actually change their status as they enter your world. So, but we're going to leave it as member. Okay. All right, and then these are some accessibility features that they have. With if you've got special controllers or that, basically you're going to be using your keyboard to move around, and you're going to be using the A and the S and the W and the Z. It makes kind of like a rectangle, right? And so the W is forward, Z is backwards, A is to the left, and the S is to the right. And those are the main ones that you're going to be using. Now, once again, in creative mode, that is the only mode that you are allowed to fly. And so we're going to go out here, get out of my settings, and I'm starting to see things are slowing down just a little bit. So I'm going to go back to resume game. You see this guy right here? That is a slime right there. He can't hurt me though because I'm in creative mode. So I'm walking along. And now I'm flying. I can only fly in creative mode. I can't fly in survival mode. Okay. And it kind of is building the world around me. It only kind of shows you some of your world, but what you can use this for. So we're talking, with math, of course, perimeter, that's a super easy one because you're counting blocks. But imagine doing some sky writing because I'm up in the sky and I can actually use some of my inventory to write, and I'm creating math problems in the sky. So many different ways that you can use this. You could use math with your elements and looking at the atomic mass of things, and talking about scientific notation. A whole bunch of different ways that you can use this. There's something called a crafting table where you have to build what I call a recipe, and you have to put specific inventory items together. There's a book that you kind of have to find this stuff out. There's no set pattern to it. There's no set, somebody will say, oh yeah, you can find that in this book, or people post things online and you find different, what I call the recipes. And I call, even when you add the elements together, some of those formulas, I call those recipes for kids, and they get it. They just really get it. So I can't even explain like everything that you can do with this. I've seen somebody take this, and I've actually created quizzes with this by using some of the we don't even have time to get into the commands or any of that type of stuff, because you can actually tell items what to do. There's a chicken right over here, And I just have to kind of do this because every time I see the chickens, I just love the chickens. So let me get some seeds. Let's do, yeah. I'm going to put those in my inventory. And let's see. And I am going to give him some seeds. And now he loves me. He's my friend. And I always think about, there's this one kid that when I started, when I was going out to, when we had campuses to go out to at one time, we had a whole class and they're doing Minecraft, and this kid was being really mean to this chicken, and it was really upsetting me. And I went over to him and I said, "Hey, you know what? You need to be nice to the animals." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't really care." And he was being mean, and his teacher was like, "Oh no, we need to do something about that." So there's something called the classroom mode that we can't do remotely. We can only do that if we're all in the same room. And so I paused his game. And after I paused his game, he was very upset. And he said, "What happened?" And I said, "Well, that's what happens. You can't be mean to the animals. We already told you about that." And again, we're talking about, social skills and how we need to be nice to each other. So, the SEL component that you can use with this, you can create other characters in here. Again, we don't have time to get into that. And you can have them interact with your students, and they tell your students things. Maybe one of them could be George Washington. Another one could be George Washington Carver. You could do so many different things, and then they tell the students things, and then here, I want you to build this for me. I want you, to use these seeds and grow this plant for me. And then maybe if they don't know how to do that, that's something that they can look up and figure out how to do it. The ways that you can use this game are endless, and I wish I had more time to even talk about all of this. So, but we're down to about 8 minutes here. So first of all, are there questions out there?
I have two here. One
Yes.
wanted to know how much, when the students download the game onto their Chromebook, how much space they're going to need for that.
It's a very limited amount of space that it needs. I want to say I can't remember the exact specs, but the Chromebooks that we have out at the campuses, because we are providing them with the newer ones, the older ones wouldn't be able to hold it. But all of the newer devices that we have, we've looked at all the specs, and there's more than enough space on them for it. It's obviously on the Chromebook, it's not going to be as memory intensive as it is on a Mac or a PC. And I think that's because it's got to be connecting with some kind of server that's out there in the cloud somewhere. That's what I've been told. So there won't be a worry about how much space on the Chromebook. It's not going to take up much space.
And the second question, and this was early on, I apologize for not seeing the page, but you referenced a .com page about 10 minutes after the session started.
Oh, do you need me to put that in the chat?
I think Anna Medelis was asking it. What was the .com page referenced?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Education Minecraft.
Education.minecraft.net. Yes.
I got that one.
Just remember this. Yes. That page will that's where all that great information is. So definitely that's a great starting place. And we're I know that this whole entire blended learning experience today is giving you all the GT credit. And I just want to tell you that, Minecraft is not just for GT kids. This kind of goes against saying that, but it does involve having to really problem solve and think outside of the box. And sometimes I know, we look at something like this and they say, no, this is just a game. And I'm going to be honest with you. My boys used to play this before I even got into this. And I thought that it was a waste of their time. And then one day, one of my kids said, "Hey, Mom, take a look at this. Look at what I'm building." And I was like, "Whoa, how did you do that?" And just talking to them, I realized that no, this is not a game. This is an actual, I keep calling it an experience because that's really what it is. And I can't stress enough that, first of all, there's only, I think there's only 3 Minecraft mentors in all of El Paso. We want more. I want more. I want more in Isleta for sure, for sure. So we want you to get certified for that if that's something that you wish to do. But secondly, I want to get more of our kids. We had a pretty big usage the past year and a half or so since I've been trying to promote it, and now that it's gone to the iPad and now it has gone to the Chromebook, hopefully we're going to get a lot more users in Isleta using Minecraft and having our kids just learn this amazing environment. I had some girls tell me one time, that's a boys game. And I said, really? Let me show you something. And I was showing them how to build, and we were getting ready to leave. And those two sat at we were in a computer lab situation at that time. And those two were sitting there, and they didn't even hear me say that time is up. And the rest of the class was leaving, and I had to go over and actually tap them on the shoulder and get them to get up, because I go, so it's still a boys game? Oh no, we like Minecraft. So, again, a lot of people think, oh, well, that's, yes, a lot of boys do play it, but so do a lot of girls. But this is a great tool to teach, the chemistry, to teach anything. And, I'd be more than willing to help you plan lessons to work with Minecraft in the classroom. I can't guarantee that my thinking will be better than yours, because I know that you all are awesome at what you do. But this is I highly recommend trying to get it downloaded. Call that 434-1010. Get it on your machines. If I could, I would give you the password to get it onto your machine right now. That's how much I believe in Minecraft. So, and I know we are just about out of time.
Yeah. Another question for the students that are going to get their Chromebooks, will it already be downloaded, or will they be doing that?
I believe the way that the process is supposed to work is that once it goes live, we're gonna have access to it through the Chrome Web Store, and we're going to try to push that out. I can't guarantee that we're going to be able to push it out. It might be that where they're going to have to grab it from the web store and put it on their machines. That's something that we're still talking about since it's still in beta right now. But I am going to be very persistent in making sure that it gets on to the students' Chromebooks in whatever way that we can do it, whether I have to send a mail admin out with instructions, step-by-step instructions, whatever it takes. I am in the process of it. I mean, I'm checking every day to see when it's going to get out of beta. They haven't said yet, but I know it's got to be coming soon, because school is getting ready to start nationwide. My prediction is going to be probably right around Labor Day is when it's going to go out of beta, right when we're starting school.
All right. So I put the link for the survey back in the chat box.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to remind everybody, if they want HE or GT update credit, to please complete that survey before leaving the meeting.
Yes. And if you do have any other questions about Minecraft, like I said, please email me. I will find out what I can for you. If it's a question that I cannot answer, I'll let you know that I can't answer it, but I will try to find out what I can for you. Lots of uses for it. I did one on money for first graders. I took some of the blocks that look like pennies. They were the same color, and I said, these are pennies. These are worth one, and nickels and dimes and quarters, and they had to count them. And if they got the answer correctly, they got to go to the next question. There was 3 questions. If they got it wrong, then it took them back to show them how to count out the money again, because I kind of had like a little lesson in it. And then at the end, they got to ride a roller coaster, and they actually had to pay the guy the correct amount of money to get on the roller coaster. And that was really, really fun to build. First of all, I had to figure all that out, and it's a lesson that's actually on the website there. But I actually tried it out with first graders, and they loved it a lot. So, and that's first grade. It's just something simple.